Hi, and welcome to Designing with Casual Elegance. In my over 25 years of being in interior design, I have designed many kitchens, lower levels, bathrooms, many projects, and that included making selections of projects. So today, we're going to share with you some of the tips and trends that are current in the remodeling industry. So I'm your host and designer, Susan Sage, and I have a special guest, Samantha Reddell from ProSource.
Hello, hello. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're most welcome. And I know you know all about these different products that we've got here. So I want to start with cabinetry. I know whenever I start a kitchen design project, the two most important things were cabinet color and countertop. You have the least amount of selection in countertop materials. Yeah. So, but cabinetry is your background.
Absolutely.
And, so we've got some great options of what you can do for cabinets. And I know at ProSource you have a couple wonderful vignettes showing different cabinets.
Yes, we sure do. Thank you.
In this particular vignette, you can see you've got a light colored cabinet on top. You've got a deep charcoal stain on the bottom. You know what I love about this is that the cabinets don't all go all the way up.
Yep.
How many times do you get on that step stool and get up there to get something? But I like the interest that this creates. Exactly. So whoever designed this at ProSource did a great job. Absolutely. And I love the combination of the wood and glass.
Yes.
So anything else you can add to that particular vignette?
So kind of the difference in the levels, it's really great to have, obviously, the upper levels you're not going to be accessing every single day, so therefore you've got your seasonal storage. And then the lower ones are your everyday, your plates, cups, all the things. So it's really, and it's not just your regular to the ceiling or just below. Yeah. It gives it some interest.
That straight line all the way across feels like it's closing in on me. Don't I'm not that big of a person. So. Anyway, yeah. And you have another vignette that shows some beautiful detail in the glass that's in the cabinetry.
Yes, I love that.
And then why don't you explain what the back is up behind the arch, where you've got the open shelving?
So that's a tile backsplash. It's a wood plank tile. They're long and skinny, wood look, and it just gives it, and it's an added appeal that, and then especially going straight up, and it has that little encasement in between the two side cabinets. It's a really good access point, a statement piece for your home. It's great.
What I like about this too is the glass doors give you a little bit of a formal look, but that tile backsplash going up gives you that rustic, here we are in Northwest Arkansas look and feel, I think.
Absolutely.
And again, you see two different colors.
Yep.
And interest at the top.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we start with glass cabinets? Now, this is your contemporary high-tech.
Very, yes. Very contemporary, very sleek. It's reflective, so if you have that one bathroom that doesn't have much natural light, you throw these glass cabinets in and that light will just reflect right off of it. There are different colors available in certain lines, not all, but you can change that color of the glass, and then also the metal. Here, I'll just grab it. Thank you. So it is metal backing, and you can do, in this particular door, either this brushed nickel or a white also to make it just entirely seamless. So it's really awesome. And it's very, very heavy.
How do you care for that?
Just like you would your windows. I mean, it's glass. You clean it with Windex or just, I'm all about Mrs. Meyer's products, so
oh yeah,
all natural.
Love her stuff.
And no streaks. So
good.
Absolutely.
Another thing that we have going on in cabinet doors, which I'll let you explain. Shaker style, we're seeing things dressing up inside.
Yes, we are leaning more, not totally traditional, but more in the slight detail versus all straight lines, which is awesome. This one in particular just gives you a little added detail there in the middle. It's still a shaker style, just with added character. So this is one example, and then that one right over there also.
And I love this color of stain.
Yes.
And that one just has a small bead
Yep.
going through.
Exactly. For those of you who don't want like a straight line, you can do a little curved line here and still add a detail, but not your everyday shaker that we've all seen for however many years.
And then what about the option, if I didn't want wood, if I wanted to add glass inside,
Absolutely.
what can we, I think we've got a couple of samples here.
Yeah. So this one is kind of just a wave pressed glass.
Set
It's
it on
called
top there and
Amira
see. I don't know if
I
it'll
don't know.
show,
Yeah.
but instead of having the wood, just have a beautiful, it kind of obscures what's inside a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't want to show off everything that's in that particular cabinet, you can do like your frosted or
Yeah.
different kinds there. And then this one is kind of just your pleated glass. Yeah.
And then, of course, you have to dress up your cabinets.
Yes.
So, finishing touch on top,
Yes.
crown molding.
Absolutely.
Love that simple cove molding.
It's a really smooth transition into your ceiling line. It's just enough detail without being too much. And yeah, smooth and clean.
So, trend-wise, are you doing more of that or more of a straight line?
Still seeing very heavy straight lines. Not everyone is a huge fan of the curve, but it's more so the clean lines right now. But cove is definitely in the mix a fair amount, I would say.
Good. And then I think there's a way you can stack these, which I don't know.
There is a way. Yes. Brian knows. Brian's our kitchen and bath designer at ProSource.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Okay. Well, I think if you just stack one on the other,
Just,
it kind of work. I think the way that he did it is a larger one underneath. Yes.
that?
Like that.
That's what he did. You're right.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't have cabinetry. It looks unfinished if you don't have a beautiful pull or knob.
Oh, yes. You've got to dress it up with some good old hardware, which nowadays we are seeing definitely more of those warm tones. Hallelujah. And you've either got a cool warm or your very heavy warm yellow undertone. Or not orange.
It's a brass,
brass.
brushed brass, it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
But what I love is the options. And this particular board not only shows you a beautiful shape, but how many different colors you can get your pulls in.
Exactly.
There's something for everyone.
Absolutely, there is. Yep.
What is the kind of number one right now? Is there any?
Oh, well, I mean, this is a great example of kind of what's popping right now. Just a clean center line, no curves there, and then a nice base plate that just adds, just like the shaker cabinets are adding a small bit of detail. That back plate is adding just that nice little touch of detail. We're still seeing a lot of just your straight, square pulls and knobs. Definitely more pulls, though, than knobs nowadays.
Yeah.
That is definitely, pulls are going different directions on cabinets, more so.
Well, it's kind of funny. I've kind of noticed that same thing where they're using pulls, and because they come in so many sizes, it makes sense. I know whenever I'm looking for pulls, and don't laugh, I always like one large enough to get your hand into.
Yes.
My husband's kind of a big guy, so I was looking to see.
Oh, exactly, yes. You want to be able to access the pool.
Yeah.
There are some that are definitely more low profile, closer distance to the face of the cabinet, where these give you a good distance to get a good grip on them. Yeah.
Are you doing anything with glass pulls?
Not often. When I have been doing the glass ones, it's more so for those very specific areas like your master closet or powder baths. That's kind of a statement room right now too. So
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, good. And then color-wise, I think chrome is not so very big.
Definitely not. Not as big as it used to be. It's still beautiful in the right space, but I'm not seeing that one utilized as often as I am your matte black or rubbed bronze. Brushed nickel, if you do like a chrome but you don't like the stoutness of it, brushed nickel is a great go-to after considering the chrome, for sure.
Well, chrome's going to show more fingerprints.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, it is.
And that's a big thing. Well, that's great. You know, it's like I said, cabinetry. Oh, and I'm guessing that they're all soft close.
Yes, all the lines that we have at ProSource are all soft close, full overlay with the traditional as an option, but you've got your dovetail constructed drawers, and soft close being a standard is pretty awesome. So,
Okay, and then let's just talk a minute about the finishes. Are these baked on finishes or how?
Yes, definitely baked on. There's a big process that the manufacturers take on when you're painting over a cabinet. They do, obviously, they prime and then they go through and paint. And with the painting, you get, unless you have like a glaze or some added finish.
Color, you want some depth into it or a little bit more rustic look. Or you might start with the white but glaze over in a gray or a brown.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. There's a whole process.
So it's all manufactured, so when the cabinets come out, they're ready to go in.
Yeah, they are full box.
Done, not stinking up the house with stain and lacquer.
No, Yep, you don't have to get dirty for these. Exactly.
Okay, and of course, you know, if you've got beautiful countertop, we have a couple samples here, and these are both quartz.
Yes.
And then we have some samples of tile. And I think standard subway tile is kind of also stepping aside.
In a way, in a sense, because you can take your standard subway and you can turn it 45 degrees and create a whole new look to that basic subway tile. The colors are endless, what's available out there. This one, I love this one just because it's got the bevel, so you've got that added detail, which also makes it more unique than your standard subway. And sizes too, you can even do thicker, shorter, and you can play around with subway tiles and make a beautiful statement piece out of them.
Yeah,
especially for a backsplash.
A herringbone or,
Exactly.
like you said, all different kinds of things. Or you can go fancy and put one of these beautiful decorative tiles,
Absolutely.
which I think this would look really good as a detail above a cooktop or a stove.
Absolutely.
You know, if somebody's got a slide-in gas or whatever. And then maybe trim it out with an accent color.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and are these becoming pretty popular?
They most definitely are. Not only for backsplashes, but also for like laundry floors, powder bath floors. You've got, I mean, pattern is, it's hopping right now, for sure.
That's heavy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but I love those. So, yeah, and here again is another example of a beautiful tile that I don't know if you can tell, there's a little detail in it.
So this is a wave crest. You can do it vertical. I don't know if you can see it, but you can do it vertical or horizontal. And it just creates a really awesome pattern just by vertical or horizontal.
And then grouts, are you doing same color grout, contrast grout, and?
It's a good 50-50 mix on that. I'm seeing more people wanting to do I want my grout to match the face of my tile. I don't want it to stick out, take away from the tile. And then others who do want that high contrast, where they do want to see it pop and almost make the pattern for the tile sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then tight grout lines, or there again, does it depend on color or what kind of look they want?
Yes, absolutely. But definitely, even with the pop of color, dependent on the tile color, tight grout lines. Everyone's wanting to do as tight as they can possibly go. Yeah.
Well, again, it's a cleaner look, I think. And I know a project I'm working on right now, we're doing floor tile, and we said tight lines.
Yep.
So we are going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about countertops and flooring.
Awesome.
Ready? Oh, sorry. Welcome back. I am here with Samantha from ProSource, and we are talking about all of these wonderful products to use in your home if you are redecorating or remodeling. And we left off talking about tile, which could be backsplash, could be shower, pretty much wherever you want to do. But there is a difference between wall tile and floor tile.
Absolutely.
But before we talk about floor tile, let's talk about countertops. We haven't touched on that. And we have a couple samples here. I believe they're both quartz.
Correct, yes. So both of these are some quartz material. It's a man-made material. Cool thing about it is that you get your consistency in the color. With natural stone, you might find a slab or find a sample that you love and just absolutely adore, and then once it comes to your home, it ends up being slightly different just because it's natural stone. There is no consistency there. So that's one of the big pros on your quartz materials. And
What about care?
care, very low maintenance with like a granite, quartzite, any of the natural stones. There is at least once within 18 months you're supposed to care for those materials. Not everyone does, I know. But quartz, you can go 5 years without polishing, sealing, doing anything of the like. So it's very low.
And there's very big slabs, so you may only have 1 or 2 seams depending on your kitchen countertop. The other thing I like is I know that granite has fissures in it. And if your granite is not sealed, 2 things. You could have microorganisms growing in those fissures.
Whole communities, yes.
And if there's coral in that granite, it can change color.
Absolutely.
I have seen that happen.
Yes.
So I definitely prefer quartz. I just want to take my spray away, clean it down. It doesn't stain. And I don't know if I've said this before. I don't think so. But I do have quartz countertop. And a couple weeks ago, my husband took some meat out of the freezer to defrost it. And I mark everything with black marker of what it is and the date. Yes. Well, he put it marker side down on the countertop. And I went to move it. He was out in the yard. I'm like, we have a little problem here.
Yeah.
It all came out. That marker did transfer, but you just can't even tell where it was.
Magic erasers really are magic, and so is quartz. Yes, absolutely.
Now, can you do? I know with granite you can do a backsplash to match. Can you do the same thing with quartz?
Absolutely, yes. The industry is even seeing your very, very thin quartz materials. Everyone's seen, your thick porcelains, but they have a very thin quartz that is the same color, same pattern as your countertop, and you just run that right up your backsplash, and it looks really good.
That's a way to still have that simplicity, that became so popular during the shaker trend. And now we have some floor tiles.
Yes.
We've got a couple different samples. This is really different.
This is definitely a very decorative brand and style. I call it a Tetris line. But essentially you've got a wood look, and then you can do colors on the back. It shows you which colors are available, and even, so you got the natural wood with any of these accent colors. This is a floor or wall tile, so it's one that can go either as an accent wall or your laundry floor. Wow, it's awesome.
Yeah. Create a little interest, character, personality.
Yes, absolutely.
Which, I'm all about that in design.
Exactly.
And then, of course, I absolutely love this.
Yes.
A great floor tile that has that rustic wood look. So if you are a cabin type person or
Lake
rustic,
house, really great for lake houses.
which could be used with either of these countertops.
Yeah.
Just
looks-
and with the door, it just I think has an elegant look, and
Absolutely.
I would even mix that with hardwood. If I were going to do that in a bathroom, but might have hardwood in the master bedroom going into. I think there's a way you could work it in.
Absolutely.
There's probably tones in there that could match your hardwood floor.
Exactly. As long as there's a healthy mix of contrast, absolutely, you can play around with those wood looks, tile versus real. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Love that. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, hardwood.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I'm not a big fan of is hardwood in a kitchen. And I know all builders want to do hardwood in a kitchen. Is there something different on the finishes so that it's okay?
There's definitely care that you would need to be mindful of putting hardwood in your kitchen. But fun fact, especially for those who want like a consistent wood look floor, this top one is actually a vinyl. It's a luxury vinyl plank. It's one
Wow.
of the thickest that, if I'm not mistaken, on the market. But it's a 28 mil wear layer, and so that wear layer on those, on your vinyls, that's what gives you the water resistance and the scratch resistance. And that's why it's so awesome for your kitchen and your bathroom and laundry. Hardwood, there are products there's not necessarily like sealers, but there are ways to protect it and just your rescue rate. When you do end up spilling, it's inevitable, everyone's going to. You just want to rescue it real quick. And then dogs, obviously, you want a mat or something under their water bowl. They don't have any manners. So
I forgot to train them.
oops, yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful color. Okay, so plank versus like your standard 3.5 or 4.5. Where are we today?
We are definitely in like the 7.5, 6 and above inches wide. I've seen a lot more clients of mine personally, but we want the wide, we want the long. So especially for those open floor plans, it looks stunning, and it's just consistent, and it's inviting. It just,
Yeah. I like the wider plank.
same.
And again, I think it's a little more rustic. It's not as formal. And then color. Where are we on color? Natural.
We are all natural.
Yeah.
With the fair exception of the dark brown tones, I even red tones too, because with the blues and the greens that are having a healthy, a slight touch of a red tone, it can complement your blues and your greens really well too.
Okay. So natural is kind of taking over.
100%.
You know, I kind of thought that would come along with after all the dark floors and everybody saw how much dust you can see.
Absolutely. I'm surprised black cars didn't tell us that, right? Everyone can see those, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love hardwood in the rest of my house, but in the kitchen I'm going to do tile.
Yeah.
Now, and I think probably people would worry about breakage. You know what? In 38 years, I think we broke one plate that dropped.
Right.
So
And
maybe we're just careful. I don't know.
Hey, to each their own, but I get that for sure, and it's a safe route, especially you never know what's going to happen. So
Okay, now there's areas in your home where you have carpet.
yes,
And carpet, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that a loop carpet that's the strongest part of the fiber. So I think this Tigressa
this one here.
kind of mixes cut and loop.
Yes, so this is a pattern created by a cut and loop, and that just means that the fiber is either cut or it's looped into the backing. And there's several different types of backing. This is a mesh backing, so you've got, where it's tucked in. But the cut and loop, it's very durable, and I like to say that it's very forgiving with your life because it disguises the life. So
And then I think there's a really great color selection
oh,
on the
absolutely.
back.
Yes. So more often than not, you will find a color palette available in the same pattern. This one in particular is awesome because it pulls in your blue tones and green tones that we all love right now. And that just shows you what's available. I mean, each one is different, obviously, but it's good to have.
Polyester, nylon.
This one, I'm not mistaken. So this is a 100% Tigressa nylon. Nylon
Okay.
is definitely going to be more durable and have more bounce back than a polyester.
Okay,
So very durable, takes on that life really well.
good. And most carpets can also be used as area rugs or cut as a runner.
Yes.
If you can't find something in a runner, then, certainly you can buy carpet goods, have it finished on the edges. Okay, we have a decorative carpet,
Yes, animal print. It's
great for a staircase.
It's amazing for a runner. Even your theater room, or there's very specific niche for these, but I mean, they, believe it or not, animal prints are timeless. So, and this one, again, you've got different colors, so you can go more neutral with it. It doesn't have to be the bright red, or it doesn't have to be super intense on the color, which kind of helps the pattern character come out a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely, animal print.
Okay, let's talk about the king of all carpets.
Yes, wool. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful, durable.
So durable. Wool is it's a living fiber. I mean, stain resistance is just in its genes. It'll actually shed off a stain. If you spill red wine, even on this color, it will shed off, which is one factor that many people don't like about wool.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But with the stain resistance, the living material, it's also flame resistant. Your casinos, airplanes, they use wool because it won't allow the fire to progress higher.
So it has wickability, which is like its own moisture content.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Which helps with that, which is, well, many times, of course, if you're working in commercial applications, you need to know a flame spread, and too much that I didn't want to get into.
Yes, we could.
Residential is much more fun.
Right. We could definitely dive into that, but for sure, it's my favorite, but it's common misconception that the shedding is the worst thing possible. So it's truly not.
No, because wool is going to outlast anything.
Anything.
It will go on and on. You can clean it. Yeah, and if you think about most nice area rugs decorative rugs that you get for your home are 100% wool.
Exactly.
I mean, there are other options, but I think some of the most beautiful hand-knotted rugs are wool, and the colors are a lot more vibrant. Those that are polyester, they say, well, they're washable. How is it going to hold up over time?
Right.
When, if you've got a beautiful area rug, it's going to wear for a long time.
Yep.
That's just the nature of and if you think about our winter coats, the best ones are made of wool.
Exactly.
You think of your wool Melton. Yes, of course, like I said, it is the top of the line, so
Yes, it is.
it's a price point.
Sure.
But for beauty and durability, I think it is the best.
It's the longevity that drives that cost up.
Yeah.
Initial cost higher than others, but you won't have to replace it
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road.
And last, before we wrap up, rug pads, anything to say about different rug pad, or your your rug pad under your carpet? Because I know a lot of times a manufacturer will recommend
Yes.
what kind of rug pad to use.
So some manufacturers have their own line of your carpet padding. Well, more often than not, they do. All the way from your basic, just no moisture barrier, just enough to where it doesn't feel like you're walking on concrete underneath the carpet or subfloor, all the way up to memory foam. And there are several different options. We'd stock a couple that I absolutely love, but basically the memory foam is going to give you the most plushness along with the high-end price point, but we're not talking about that.
Okay. Well, we thank you for coming today.
Yes,
We'll wrap it up, and I think you've given us a lot of great information on your products. And ProSource is a local trade showroom where you can go in, and there are people who can help. Usually you work with a designer, a contractor, a builder, someone in the trade.
Correct.
Please join me again next month when we'll have more tips and tricks. And Samantha, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.